All right, guys, today we got ourselves our mini preview of the Detroit Lions. We're going to take a look at everything as well as their season win total. This is episode 11 as we comb through the NFL, more than a third of the way there. And we'll keep on rolling tomorrow. But for today, Detroit, everyone's darling from last year. Their over-under is 9.5, minus 122 to the over, plus 100 to the under. We are going to go with the under here, under 9.5 wins for the Detroit Lions. So let's jump into the coaching staff. It's the same as last year. Dan Campbell, head coach. Ben Johnson really did well to keep him around at offensive coordinator, and then Aaron Glenn at defensive coordinator. I like Campbell. He's a really good motivator and stuff like that. I'm not so sure he's necessarily brilliant in the coaching aspect, and I'm not necessarily sure we'll see a ton of that this year, but next year when Ben Johnson's gone and stuff like that, then that may start to eke out a little bit. But for now, this is a really good cast surrounding him. Aaron Glenn's not too bad, as we said about Ben Johnson. An elite play caller, probably the best offensive coordinator, just coordinator in the NFL right now. So a really, really good job to keep him around. And that will bring us right into the offense. Jared Goff had a really good year last year. Does it all stay at this elite level on offense? I'm not so sure. Last year kind of felt like the peak of this offense. There's a year now of more film. Goff, you can still get at him a little bit. There are games where he still gets a little bit confused. That Patriots game comes to mind. I mean, Belichick screws with him and just loves doing it. They didn't score at all when they played the Patriots last year. So you can still kind of get to him. I think the offense and Goff in particular step back just a little bit. It's still a really good offense. I'm not saying this offense slows down to 17 points a game or anything like that, but a minor setback is kind of what I'm expecting here. Offensive line, really good. Tackles are elite. Sewell's still continuing to grow. The interior is really good as well. Right guard's probably the only position where you're like, we'll see what we get. Vaitai coming off a huge injury, and his depth is okay. So we'll see. Guard depth in general is pretty good. Center depth has nothing, so I worry about that position. But, a really good O-line, top to bottom. Not much more you can say. Excuse me. Running back room, fully revamped. Swift and Jamal Williams are gone. Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs are in. I'll just get this out of the way about the draft. The players are here. I don't really care how they draft. They can draft how they want. I wouldn't have drafted that way, but it is what it is, and we're moving on. So Gibbs and Montgomery come in. Montgomery's solid. He's a good runner between the tackles. Gibbs is an all-around weapon, incredibly quick. Loved him at Alabama. So this is just a really, really, really good set of weapons here. It's probably an upgrade on Swift and Jamal Williams, I would think. Just in terms of style and stuff like that, you can do a lot more here. Swift and Jamal Williams were similar backs, so we'll see. But I really like Gibbs, a really good player, a weapon, can line him up anywhere probably, and can do a variety of different things. And Montgomery is going to hit you between the tackles and just be an all-around good running back here. Tight end room. This one takes a step back after Hawkinson leaves. It's just a bunch of average players, and Sam Laporta, who's a rookie, and while he's probably the most NFL-ready rookie at tight end, or a lot of scouts said it at least, it's tough. That's a tough position to get into in the NFL as a rookie. It's a tough position to kind of pick up and roll with, so we'll see here, but the tight end room probably takes a step back from last year. Wide receiver room, this is a fun group. Amon-Ra St. Brown's really good, shifty, excellent in space. And then you get a variety of other guys. Marvin Jones is solid out on the boundary there. Then you get Reynolds and Khalif Raymond are really good, 3-4s, 3-4-5s, I suppose. Jameson Williams, I like him as a player, just in general, or I liked him coming out. We'll see. He missed a ton of time last year, came back and was, okay, and he's going to miss the first 6 games again this year. So, if he contributes heavily, it'll be later on in the season, like late toward the playoffs if they kind of make it there. So, you know, that's a tough one, but it's a good weapon to have. And then they trade for Mims from the Jets, so we'll see if he makes the roster and contributes. But all around, a really fun room and a variety of different skill sets that are all useful here in this offense. But then we jump to the defense. Defensive line, it's not too bad. It's Aiden Hutchinson, it's McNeil, and kind of just the bodies. Hutchinson had a good year last year, of course. He needs to take another step for this D-line to get better, because the defensive line's sort of the same, and it wasn't great last year, even though he played particularly well, and McNeil played well inside, but the rest of the bodies are kind of just average, and their depth, while there's a decent amount of it, it's also all just average. So Hutchinson needs to take a really big step up here, and hopefully for their sake he will. Linebacker room, this is where Jack Campbell comes in. He's going to start at Mike, I guess, and just kind of roll. And it's a really tough position to kind of jump into the NFL. It's a lot of responsibility. Him and Anzalone are going to be that tandem, and he'll have to play well. It's as simple as that. The problem with with this spot in particular, with Sam Laporte in particular, while they're, you know, new draftees and such, it's a lot of responsibility for Campbell, and they're tough positions to come into the NFL and kind of just jump into and play well in immediately year one. So I worry. I worry. This is as simple as that. But he has good tape, and he's a good player in general, so we'll see. And then the secondary, this has been completely revamped pretty much. Brian Branch gets drafted in. CJ Gardner-Johnson comes in. They'll probably switch in and out at safety, slot corner, that sort of stuff. And then Mosley and Sutton come in. Mosley's pretty good. I don't hate Mosley. I don't think he's necessarily a really good one. So, you know, it is what it is. Sutton's okay. A decent two. But these are not top end at those spots. Mosley is kind of lower end one, top end two kind of player. And Sutton, just an average two, I guess. And then you get the other positions there. CJ is a weird player because he keeps getting let go from good organizations, and I worry about that. So we'll see. You know, Walker and Joseph, they played well at safety last year. Joseph will hope to take another step. Walker would hope to stay on the field if they're healthy and rolling and stepping up. It could be a good secondary, but it's just like 4 or 5 new bodies in this room that are all going to be playing. So it's going to take a while to gel, take them a while to get off the floor, if they get off the floor at all. So it's again, tough spots. The problem with a lot of this football team is that it's new players in difficult positions. It's going to be tough for them to all gel, but hopefully they don't get too far behind early, and then maybe they all gel and it kind of just rolls into place later on in the year. But let's jump into the schedule. First 4 are really difficult. At Kansas City in the curtain raiser, that's really tough. It's really, really tough. Don't expect a win there, but you know, it's a good test. We'll see what the lines are all about. Ready to roll. Then Seattle and Atlanta at home, and then at Green Bay. That's not an easy stretch either. Atlanta match up well. They can run the ball here a lot. Seattle, very similar. They did it last year, put up 48 on this defense, ran the ball a lot, and this is a defense, as we said, it's going to take a second to get off the ground here with so many new pieces and new pieces in tough spots. So we'll see. They'll hope to stop the run a little bit better. Not expecting it because it's just all the same players really on that D-line, so it's difficult. It's a difficult stretch to start. Then we have Carolina, at Tampa Bay, at Baltimore, Las Vegas before the bye. Those are tough games as well. Tampa Bay, I expect the defense to be pretty good, and I think the offense is going to be okay enough. Tough road game, and then at Baltimore is tough. Las Vegas at home seems like a win. And then you get the bye, and then you get at the Chargers, Chicago, and Green Bay. So 2 division games. Those games are going to be up and down all year long. And then their toughest stretch at New Orleans, at Chicago, home to Denver, at Minnesota, at Dallas. 4 road games and 5 toward the end of the year when you're hoping to chase playoffs / division. That's tough, really tough. And then home to Minnesota to end it. So it's a tough schedule. It's a lot of moving pieces, a lot of pieces that are going to have to get off the floor here. That's why we're going with the under 9.5 at +100. Tomorrow we'll have a new team rolling, but This was the Detroit Lions under 9.5 wins.